Over these past 3 weeks especially, we've covered many aspects of developmental nutrition, pregnancy, prenatal, everything you need to understand to have perfectly developed children. Now, not everyone has been able to follow a perfect diet for 2 years pre-contraception or breastfeed their children for 3 years. I mean, that's probably 0.01% or some crazy small amount of the population. So today we'll touch on foods that are most important for physical development outside of those stages. And by that I mean, from 2 or 3 years of age up to 21, even early to mid 20s. One overlying factor that I can't ignore is the role of dairy in the more physically impressive groups of people, especially the Dutch, those Scandinavian areas. The height and skeletal development from dairy, even when compared to other physically impressive groups of people, tribes, indigenous people, seems to be consistent. Simple reason being that dairy is a reliable nutritional source from nature, whereas procuring meat requires more caloric expenditure. Animal husbandry not always allowing consistent slaughtering of animals. This list today isn't based off the most perfect ideal food. It's more of a realistic scenario based on accessibility, average quality, and the likelihood a child would eat the food. Otherwise, we'd be giving our kids venison tartare with caviar, and some kids might like that if they were introduced it at an early age. Again, the very small minority. Number one is milk. And I don't know a child that doesn't enjoy a tall glass of chocolate milk or some milk and cookies. Maybe one of those demonic, brainwashed vegan children with horrible parents, but we only see those in the media. And I'm sure everyone has some gigantic friend who, when asked what he ate as a kid, simply answered a lot of milk. Of course, you want to go grass-fed, ideally raw, high quality with everything. Quality really being the main theme I push with any diet, along with a high animal food presence. Conventional store-bought milk, especially whole milk, it's way better than the soy or almond milk kids are sucking down now, but it pales in comparison to the good stuff. Not only are you missing out on a substantially higher vitamin content in grass-fed milk, more beneficial fatty acids, these kids are consuming so many chemicals, most of them estrogenic, which wreaks havoc on their hormones to create our new generation of soy boys. That being said, the high protein content of milk and its incredible bioavailability due to being a liquid still keeps it at the top, whether conventional or raw grass-fed. Number two, we have eggs. Although I don't really want to even put eggs on this list, in reality, you aren't going to get a child to eat animal brains or caviar unless they're introduced as a toddler from an early age. Even so, a lot of people can't access brains, and our oceans are so heavily polluted, making eggs the only reasonable source of omega fatty acids. The problem is the high omega-6 content, unbalanced omega fatty acid ratios, even in organic pasture-raised, makes them a questionable source of nutrition for children. Eggs are definitely a better brain-building food compared to dairy. They're super high in cholesterol, omega-3s, plenty of vitamin K2, even small amounts of vitamin D, much more balanced from an overall nutritional perspective. Minerals that are typically low in meat, such as copper. If I had kids, I would definitely be raising some backyard chickens, feeding them a high-quality diet to ensure that I had a safe source of omega fatty acids for my children. One of the main goals in the near future of Frankie's Free Range Meat is to get a dairy and chicken operation to help provide you guys with these types of foods. Number three, we have cheese, mainly for its vitamin K2 content. Cheese is very similar to milk from a macronutrient perspective, rich in protein, fats, slightly less carbohydrates, but overall so concentrated in nutrition, so many vitamins and minerals, everything a developing child needs. I would say you could rank it even higher than milk, and most kids do enjoy the taste of cheese. It's just because it's dried out, it's so concentrated, it's not as easy to gulp down so much of it or consume a ton of it. Vitamin K2, specifically in the form MK4, which is only found in animal foods, is vital for skeletal development, being part of the transport system for calcium and minerals into bones. Since K2 is synthesized by a healthy gut microbiome and also high in fermented foods like cheese, two things which aren't really present in our modern lifestyle, it's no wonder why a lot of kids, end up tall and skinny with faces that don't match. Those fat-soluble vitamins, mainly K2 and D3, ensure your bone, your skeletal structure is wide, broad, what humans are supposed to be. But if you just suck down a lot of protein without enough minerals, you'll grow tall and skinny, but things won't be in proportion. Vitamin D being really more important than all of these things, but we'll touch on that a little bit later. Number 4 is meat, mainly for iron and specific minerals that aren't as high in dairy products and eggs. I would say ideally at least once per day. 4 to 5 times per week is still great. And it can be hard to get kids to eat meat sometimes unless they were eating it from an early age. So more approachable preparations like sausage, deli meat, sneaking it in certain dishes might be helpful. The problem is most of those charcuterie deli products are very low quality. Maybe some organic hot dogs are passable now, but unless you're stuffing sausages in your kitchen and have prosciutto hanging in your garage, it's difficult to be confident in feeding many of these supermarket products to your children, regardless of organic or not. Now, I'm putting chocolate at number 5 because I think it's the most reliable source of magnesium that children are going to consume consistently. And we need so much magnesium. It's one of the few things that I think everyone should be supplementing. Chocolate actually has minerals that are antagonistic to animal products. So it's like a perfect combination. You get ample animal-based minerals from meat, dairy, eggs, and then if you have chocolate frequently, it's very concentrated in the magnesium, the copper, the phosphorus, the minerals that are low in those animal products. Yeah, if you're giving your kids high-quality chocolate milk, grilled cheese, eggs, all of which I have recipes for on my channel, they're probably going to be 6-foot-tall supermodels. The vitamin D factor I mentioned is without a doubt more important than any food you could feed your child. So, if you can get your kids outside playing in the sun, shirtless, in swimsuits as much as possible, even supplementing them with vitamin D3, I would say that's a priority before making the diet picture perfect. I think children being vitamin D deficient is causing shorter statures, improper skeletal development, lower IQ. I mean, of course, there's so many problems with our modern diet and lifestyle, but if you think about it, in our past, kids were always outside with their parents, playing in the sun all day, and by the time you get to even 3, 4, 5, 6 years old, the child is already heavily vitamin D deficient. So thank you guys for joining me today, and that got me thinking maybe I'll do a video next week on how to properly dose supplements for your children, although I don't really like giving that type of information away for multiple reasons. I'll think about it. If you could please drop a like on the video, subscribe so that YouTube can unsubscribe you next week, check that notification bell so they don't notify you of my videos. Therefore, please sign up for the newsletter at frank-tufano.com, where you can also check out all of my businesses. Thanks again, guys. I'll see you for tomorrow.